And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Of course, double dip today for a couple of shows out there. HighTideCountry.net and our friends at KKTC True Country 99.9. And always the Sports Guys Podcast.com. Of course, MLB opening day for a lot of teams out there. All 26 teams, 27 teams for Major League Baseball. And of course, another two games coming up tomorrow. Exciting times, March Madness, the NFL draft. You still got hockey going on too. So I just love being a sports fan and, of course, crossing over to music. Pleased to welcome in my next guest today. When I heard about her, I just was like, you know what? We got to do this. Olivia Penalva joining us here on the Backstage Pass, the new single Spiderwebs across all the streaming platforms. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It is good to be here. And when I first heard that song, I went, wow. Then I'm like, I got to go check out the music video.
Aw. Oh,
I did
amazing.
that
Thank
too.
you.
Well, let's get to know you. I know you, but the listeners out there may not know Olivia Penalva, the artist. Tell me about you growing up, the connection to music, and when did this bug kind of bite?
Ooh, I always loved music, but I remember specifically when I think I was around 11 years old. I was, as a kid, I loved High School Musical. I loved any kind of musical. And I remember being in the car with my family, and my siblings and I would always sing together in the car. And I don't remember what we were singing, but my mom had my siblings stop and was like, "Hey, can you be quiet for a minute and let Olivia keep singing?" And she was like, there's something there. And, usually when they're your mom. So they're just
Sure.
usually like just hyping you up and being nice to you. But I took whatever she said to heart. And right away, I signed up for vocal lessons and competitions and just decided I'm going to try this. And then from there, it kind of just took off. I remember that first competition I did, I was way too scared to get up on stage. And my mom had kind of told me, you can walk away and you might regret it, or you can do it, and no harm if you hate it. And if you love it, then, you've gained something cool. So I did it. And as soon as I got off stage, I was like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And since then, that's what I've been doing. So
Give me some artists that really shaped you as an artist too, as well. Some people listening to, no matter what genre of music, what shaped you as an artist?
So many different things, because we listened to a lot of jazz in the house growing up, and R&B. My parents love that kind of stuff. I was obsessed with Nora Jones. Her music was actually what I sang at that first competition too. As a little 11-year-old girl singing Nora Jones, I loved her. So I'd say definitely, kind of my sound and where it started was a lot influenced and inspired by that. But on the writing side of things, I would say, I think Ed Sheeran was the first one I really remember hearing his music and then just being like, wow, he's literally telling a story from start to finish of a song. And I absolutely loved it. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to write music like that.
Well, I'm going to dive into this EP because I got a chance to really check out a lot. Yes, we do our homework here on the show. It's just part of what we do. We're known for that. This one called Assembly Required. First of all, I love that title. Second of all, the artwork on it was fantastic too. The EP cover itself. Tell us all about this too for the fans that may not have checked it out too. I encourage them to go check it out across all the streaming platforms. You Love It was one of my favorite songs off of there too. And the title track really set the tone for the rest of the EP.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you love it. I remember when I started working on that project, I was in a weird phase of life where I was just kind of figuring out, I always really wanted to grow up so fast. And then I got there and I was kind of like, whoa, the life is hard. Life is scary. It's very real. Wish I could go back in time a little bit. But I was kind of starting to battle with these things about myself, especially from a young age, just like putting myself on the internet and trying to, get through mental health, but also learn to love yourself physically. And also entering relationships where you don't know if someone is going to care about you in that way just because of how you feel about yourself. And so I kind of dove into that whole project of, I really wanted to write something that was pretty positive, but that other people could feel like they really understood, because those things are hard to talk about sometimes. And it was definitely also nerve-wracking to share it, because I felt like I was like opening this part of myself to the world to be like, this is how I feel. But it was such a positive experience to also put that out there to the world and see how many people connected with it and felt inspired by it. That was just so special. So the whole EP was just kind of formed around this idea of self-love and empowerment and, maybe not always feeling like the best version of yourself, but still knowing that there are people out there that are going to love you regardless.
Well, I can tell you another one that caught me off of there beside You Love It was the title track itself. I always mentioned, kind of great to start an album or an EP with that particular song or a song that catches everybody's attention, because I'm not just the kind of person that can just hear one song on a record. I've got to listen to everything out there when I'm streaming to kind of get to know the whole story, because I believe the first song tells the story all the way to the last song on a project, right?
Totally. I agree. Yeah, and Assembly Required, I think that one, it was my favorite one as soon as we wrote it. I felt like it perfectly described how I was feeling, that, I felt, because of the way I felt about myself at times, that I would be unlovable to certain people. And just kind of a song, I wanted to write a song where I was letting these people know that, it's not going to be perfect with me. I'm not a perfect human. Nobody is. Mm-hmm. But, if we kind of go through this together, I still think it could be pretty amazing.
It was, and I'll tell you one that hit me, boy, I tell you, I just lost one close to me too. That second one, hardest part of losing someone. Boy, I'm going to tell you, I'm not afraid to admit it, Olivia, it made me cry. It did.
Aw, well, you know what? When we write songs, we kind of hope it resonates with people in that way. So I appreciate that. And I wrote that song for my grandpa, because he passed away when I was 17. Mm-hmm. And I remember when it had first kind of happened, I was still quite young, and I didn't really know how to, grieve, I guess, in a way. And so I felt like I kind of had skipped over that part until I got a little older and realized, like, the hardest part of losing someone is the worry of forgetting them, and the little things, and how they smell, and how their voice sounds. And it was all those very real things that so many people go through. And I just kind of wanted to put that into words. And the day we wrote it, I had kind of started writing something completely different, and it wasn't hitting, it wasn't resonating. I didn't feel like I was into it in the session. And I think it became very clear to all of us. And so I just kind of started talking a little bit about my life and what I was actually thinking about. And then the song was formed. So it's kind of funny how things turn out sometimes.
Before I get into the new one, Spiderwebs, and talk about the music video with you got to go back to another one that is just another great pop song out there, Judge Away. And I tell people it's one of my favorites I got to listen to and check out there. Tell us all about that one.
Thank you. I remember writing that song feeling like that I was just in a place of life where I was starting to realize that, like, people are judging me, and whether it's online for little things, about myself, or it's people I know in my life who don't totally understand me. I wanted to kind of write something for myself, but also for those people out there that kind of struggle to get through their day because all they can think about is these things, and just remind them that, it doesn't really matter what those people think about you. What matters is how you feel about yourself. And you can't go through life, making moves based on how other people perceive you, because it's not going to be real. And what's real is you, and that's what makes you special. And so I wanted to share that one with the world, because I felt like it's such a vulnerable song, and it's also very simple in itself, of this whole idea of just judge away. Like, it doesn't matter what people are going to say, because I feel good.
No doubt, too. And I get a chance to check out some of these music videos. I always encourage people to do that. We'll come back and talk about one. I tell you, I love it because it just fits the pop music genre, too. One called X's she put out in 2021, which I'm sure has a personal story and a meaning behind it, too. And, of course, talk about the latest single, Spiderwebs, in the music video across all those streaming platforms out there, too. Again, we'll take a quick time out. More with Olivia here in a second, too. But, hey, if you want to buy me some jewelry, my wife or Olivia out there, too, as well, one place to go out there. Our friends at Jewelry by Tommy. Tom Burley's got you covered for your spouse, friend, family member out there, too. Burley System at yahoo.com today to order. It's handcrafted, handmade. It's Jewelry by Tommy. I wouldn't go another place out there, too, the official jewelry sponsor of the Backstage Pass. More to come here, too, from our sponsors, KKTC True Country 99.9, and our friends at HighTideCountry.net, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Stay tuned.
Ever thought about owning your own business? Tanya Lapsley-Cockett did. She decided a little over 5 years ago that she was going to be an entrepreneur, so she started her travel business. Tanya is married and works a full-time job. Her business has given her amazing opportunities. Not only does she get to help people create memories by booking their vacations, sporting and entertainment tickets, rental cars, etc., but it has also allowed her to help other families create legacy emergency income. The travel industry is extremely lucrative and is an $8 trillion industry. The travel industry is projected to earn in excess of $15 trillion over the next 10 years. The travel industry pays its professionals up to 70 to 80% commission on the travel that they book for themselves and their clients. As a travel business owner, Tanya books travel and teaches others how to own and operate their own travel business. She is a director in training on the marketing side of her business, where she has helped over 90 families start their own businesses. If you're interested in owning your own travel business, please contact Tanya at 917-743-1199 or at ladytlc3555@me.com.
The Caden Gordon Show. Today's best country mix is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here, Olivia Penalva joining us here on this opening day of Major League Baseball, too. And, of course, March Madness tonight, the Sweet 16. Music, sports, it just comes together, man. It just finds a way always to come around. Let me ask you that, too. I usually wait till rapid fire, but are you a sports fan? I know, being from Canada, do you watch it? What teams do you pay attention to? I'd just like to know that.
You know, it's funny. I don't really watch sports too much unless I'm at, like, a family member's house on a Sunday and they're watching, whether it's football or golf. Like my dad and brother grew up watching golf. I tried sports. They were me and sports didn't always go together, but I will say the older I get, the more interested I have become in, like, when I go to a live game, actually seeing how it works, and it's entertaining. So that's been fun. I'll give it that.
I don't blame you. Now, at a family's house, you don't mind me asking, at a family's house or whatever else, what teams are on in that household? Or does it depend on where you're at?
Hard to say. Well, this year we had a family member who he's a big 49ers fan. So the Super Bowl, I think I never asked him because I didn't want to like upset him by. I wonder how he took that Super Bowl. So, you know, that was definitely an interesting one. But yeah,
I lost money on that Super Bowl, so we're not even going to go there. Like I said, when it came down to it, I had the Niners winning the whole thing, and then to give Pat Mahomes a chance to rebound and just a few yards in a cloud of dust, he'll beat you every time. Hey, let's talk about this great single that I got a chance to check out. Here we are, the 28th, almost the end of March. The first quarter's almost done, and March 14th, this came out and really hit a lot of different cool things. Spiderwebs, tell us all about this one.
Spiderwebs is like the start of this whole next journey for me in music and what's to come. And when I wrote that song, I was definitely in a really weird place in my life where I didn't necessarily feel like I had the most control over it. And so I remember going into the studio when we were supposed to write the song. We were actually supposed to write something different, upbeat, happy, and it just I wasn't feeling that day. So I remember going into the studio and saying that I just felt like we needed to write something different, something more raw and honest about how I was actually feeling in my life at the time. And so from there, we just started writing, and this song came about how, you know, sometimes we love someone so much that we don't realize that we're changing, or they're changing us, or taking away parts of ourselves that we used to love, until all of a sudden we are this shell of a human we don't recognize anymore. And I think that's such a difficult thing that so many people have experienced in life, and you don't always realize it until it's too far gone. And so I really was passionate about kind of exploring that. And we wrote the song, I think almost 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been holding on to it because I just knew that this whole project that I'm working on next was kind of going to be centered around this theme of, being stuck in the webs of life and how hard it can be to crawl your way out when you kind of get stuck down that path or somebody's holding you in that path. So that's where that one came from.
Love it too. And of course, people urge you to check out the music video out there too for this particular song. I did. Fantastic. Tell us all about this and where you shot this and the crew and the people that make these things come alive.
Oh, it was so much fun. I think we started planning it about a year ago. And I really wanted to play into this theme of kind of being stuck in a dollhouse where someone else is controlling every move you make, and that there's really no way out. And, you try to dress how you want to dress, and all of a sudden you're back in the outfit that you woke up in. And it was so amazing. We shot it out in Toronto at this very cool old house that was from the 1800s. And so I had to be very careful while shooting in there because there was someone standing there the whole time making sure that, like, if I threw something or if I did something that I wasn't ruining anything. But it was really cool. I really wanted to kind of step into this period of time also where women didn't have a lot of say or control. The norms were to dress to the nines and even had whalebones in their corset, like uncomfortable. And I just really wanted to kind of play into that for this, of, kind of to represent how I felt at this time, just like I wasn't in control or had no say in who I was to be. And so that's where this video came from. And of course, it takes a village. So everybody that was involved, the director, Bryce Zimmerman, is amazing. And I'm so happy that I got to work with them on this project. So it was so much fun, and it just came out today. So I'm really excited about that.
Look at that. Hits you on the exact day music video came out too. And so I love checking it out. So the Spiderwebs, again, across all the streaming platforms, both the audio track and the music video. All right, I got to go back because I'm sure this one came from a story that is out there, 2021, Exit. Tell us all about this one.
Exodus is actually a song that I think it might be the only song I've ever released that's not inspired by my life or people in it. I remember going into the session that day and we were it was over Zoom because it was during COVID, and we were trying to write something fun and different. And my co-writer had the idea to write, he had this line like, "Tonight I'm kissing my ex-best friend's ex-boyfriend." And I was like, that's going to get us in trouble. But, we started writing it and the song was so much fun. And I think for me, that was a test to like get myself, put myself in different shoes for once. And so I do think back on that, and I'm so proud of it, but I'm also like, the artist that I want to be and telling my own stories is very different than that. And I think it's amazing when artists can step out and do something that's outside of their comfort zone or a little different. But I much prefer sharing, I think, the details of my own life. However, like, that song was fun and people loved it and I'm proud of it. And I don't encourage you to go cheat on your boyfriend or with their best friend or whatever. Yeah. But, it does happen in this world. So
I'm going to go back to a little old school here because I got to check it out, at least for me. And some people may think, not old, but 2020, because completely different opposite from X's. Bring Me Cheer. Let's dive into this one.
Yeah. Bring Me Cheer, actually, I wrote with the same person as I wrote X's with, Tavish Crow. He is absolutely amazing and such a good human. And I remember it was probably the summertime. We were like, you know what, let's just write a Christmas song. Because the first song that I ever released publicly was a Christmas song called Christmas for Two. And I think I was 12 or 13 at that time when I released it. And I love here and there to pop out a Christmas song. So we kind of decided that day on a warm summer day to write something about, being cold, but just also how lovely Christmas is and how, all those experiences of Santa and cookies and all those things make you feel. So that's why we went with that one.
Give me, for I guess a fan's perspective out there too, and maybe some things that fans don't see. Being a female in any genre of music is challenging, especially pop, no doubt. But some of the things the fans may not see, kind of paint that picture for me a little bit as far as being a female in the pop industry. Go through some of the challenges that you face as an artist.
It's definitely hard because I feel like as much as we've progressed in so many ways, there are still so many areas where that's not the case. And I can say there's been so many times where, as female, you want to say no to something because the project doesn't fit into what you're doing. And that's not always like taken well. Whereas I feel like if a guy were to be like, no, that doesn't work for me, that just would be how it is. And I think it's hard because there's still this feeling that we have when we say no to something or want to do something different, that people are going to think we are difficult, or if we stand up for ourselves in a situation where we feel uncomfortable, we're being dramatic. And it's one of those things where I don't know if, guys always have to think about that the same way we do. And so for me in this whole thing, learning to use my voice, and not be afraid of how, still be kind, but not be afraid of how people are going to take it if I want to do something different. Because you got to also stand up for your art and yourself and who you are. And if something makes you uncomfortable or you don't want to do something, you're not being difficult. You're just standing up for what you believe in. And I think I wish it was that way for everybody.
Now, put in perspective and well taken there too as well. Again, check out our music across all those streaming platforms, spider webs, and of course all the songs we've talked about today. Music videos available across your favorite thing. Mine's Apple Music. You like Spotify. Hey, whatever floats your boat out there to do it. Just love Apple Music and the way they put things together out there for my own personal benefit out there too, and for the show, of course, the Backstage Pass. Again, we'll take our last time out. More rapid fire coming up. We already touched on sports with Olivia, so we're going to ask about some other favorite things like restaurants in Toronto and, things that I've got to do when I eventually travel there one day and hopefully cover the Juno Awards and things like that. But a lot more coming up here. One final segment with the great Olivia Penalva here again. But I tell you what you guys need to do is go order some jewelry during this next break right there too, because I've got some for my wife and of course everybody out there too. Order Olivia some if you want to too as well, or me, or just whatever's out there too, because I know every lady loves jewelry too. I've never met a lady who does not like jewelry out there too. If you're getting it for Olivia, me, anybody out there too, your spouse, friend, family member, Jewelry by Tommy's got you covered. Email our friend Tom Burley at burleysystem@yahoo.com today to order. It's BUEHRLE system@yahoo.com. It's handcrafted, handmade. It's jewelry by Tommy. Quick time out here. Coming back. Final segment with Olivia here on the show. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
Ever thought about owning your own business? Tanya Lapsley-Cockett did. She decided a little over 5 years ago that she was going to be an entrepreneur, so she started her travel business. Tanya is married and works a full-time job. Her business has given her amazing opportunities. Not only does she get to help people create memories by booking their vacations, sporting and entertainment tickets, rental cars, etc., but it has also allowed her to help other families create legacy income. The travel industry is extremely lucrative and is an $8 trillion industry. The travel industry is projected to earn in excess of $15 trillion over the next 10 years. The travel industry pays its professionals up to 70 to 80% commission on the travel that they book for themselves and their clients. As a travel business owner, Tanya books travel and teaches others how to own and operate their own travel business. She is a director in training on the marketing side of her business, where she has helped over 90 families start their own businesses. If you're interested in owning your own travel business, please contact Tanya at 917-743-1199 or at ladytlc3555@me.com.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here on the show, KKTC True Country 99.9 and our friends out there too, HighTideCountry.net. We play a little bit of everything here on the show. And of course, today, Olivia Penalva joining us here on the Backstage Pass. Also, always the Sports Guys podcast.com. You can catch shows there, including if you missed anything, they're archived there. Next week, a good week of shows. April Fool's Day. This is not going to fool us. Bree Fletcher from this season's The Voice. Karen Waltrip will come by. She's also doing season 25 of The Voice, and the legend Barbara Fairchild and country music, and a whole lot more next week as we just keep pumping them out. That's just what we do here on the show too. I love the song that you did. I believe this was 2018. Before I get into rapid fire, it's just a train of thought and maybe my ADD. No, I'm just kidding. Doing it. But You Are the Reason. We've not talked about this, and this has to be one that's real close to you too.
Yeah, it's funny. I started doing when I first started music, I started doing covers on YouTube, and I had been doing it for years. It was like my fun little way of sharing bits of myself while I behind the scenes was working on all my own stuff. And in 2018, I remember my sister, she's kind of the one that would always give me the songs that would do best when I would cover them. And she had sent me You Are the Reason, and I did a cover of it. And I remember being on top of this like cliff where we were filming. And at that time, my YouTube channel was kind of in a little bit of a lull. And I just remember how excited I was about this video. And I said to my mom, who was there, and the videographer, that I felt like this was the YouTube comeback. And little did I know, like, it would go the way that it went. I think it blew up because somebody, a vlogger in Indonesia, put it in their video, and all of a sudden, like, the rest of the world started hearing it. And so, to do something that is not a song of mine, but that I absolutely love so much, and see how people respond to it is pretty cool. And even for me, like, I'll be scrolling on Instagram and the sound just pops up like everywhere. So it's pretty crazy to experience something like that. And I feel very fortunate.
Beautiful song, no doubt, too. And I need you to your help too. Mine's in a little, I say lull, but YouTube channels to cover. YouTube's a tough nut. It's tough to crack. It is tough to crack out there too, for that too as well. But definitely always good stuff out there. Spider webs across all the streaming platforms and the music video across all those things out there too. I'm just joking. We're doing okay. I know Olivia is too. So it's always good to have a little fun. All right. Speaking of fun, Toronto. I talk to a lot of great artists out of Toronto all the time. They say pizza is real big in Toronto. Now, for you, what restaurants do you like to go eat out at?
Well, I'm actually from the Okanagan, which is a little part in British Columbia. So I only ever really get to travel out to Toronto here and there for music. And when I'm out there, it's definitely Mexican food, I would say. Okay. They've got amazing, overall in general, just amazing food. Where I'm from, like, it's definitely growing, but small town vibes. So there's not as much, when you go out there, you're like, oh my gosh, like, amazing food. So yeah, I would say Mexican food and sushi, but I might have to try the pizza next time.
All right, so yeah, I got to give that a shot. We'll get Toronto. And, of course, out there in the BC side, I've been to Alberta, so I've got to try some good Alberta beef out there, too. A buddy of mine making some hamburgers up there. Got some good friends in Canada we get to go see every now and then, so it's always fun to travel out there and do that. All right, first time you step behind a microphone, could be a cover, could be an original, anything, at any level of your music career. What song came out?
It was two. I did Bubbly by Colby Calais, which is funny because now that I think of it, it's very inappropriate for an 11, 12-year-old. It's not about things I should have been singing about, but beautiful song. And, I was innocent. I didn't know that. But, and Norah Jones, Don't Know Why by Norah Jones. I'd say those were the first two.
I love it. Good stuff right there, too. All right. If you were not a musician, what other career path would you have chosen?
That's a hard one because I anything artsy, I absolutely love. I love to plan events and do that kind of thing. So I could see myself doing that. But right before the kind of music thing clicked for me, I wanted to be a mediator, which is funny because I have enough of my own problems as is. But I do like talking to people. So, you never know. Probably not, but you never know.
I love it. It's good stuff right there, too. All right. Speaking of pizzas now, what toppings go on the Olivia Penalva pizza?
Oh, I like a simple barbecue pizza with chicken. Honestly, that's probably it. And if it's a flatbread, even better. I love a good crunch. So,
all right, we'll finish on this one. Favorite shows to binge watch? What do you get into when you have a night to yourself? Is it a glass of wine? Is it alcohol? What do you binge watch?
That's a very, very good question. I love lately I've been obsessed with reality TV show. I feel like it would be so much better with a glass of wine, but I've tried to extend my dry January till now. So I haven't done that yet, but honestly, anything. I've been really into watching a new show called Masters of the Air on Apple TV. about World War II. And so anything like that, if you got popcorn, it just makes it 10 times better.
It does make it 10 times better. What also makes it better, too, is having a song like Spiderwebs to talk about, too, as well, and really paint a picture that is unlike anything I've heard out there, too. Great sound, and give her a follow, oliviapenalva.com for tour dates, merchandise, things like that. And, of course, across all the streaming platforms, the music video and the current single out there. Hey, so good to put this together. Thanks so much for being with me. I appreciate the time and looking forward to doing this again. Hope you had fun.
Thank you. I did. Thank you so much for having me.
Olivia Penalva here on the Backstage Pass, of course, coming up next week. Monday, brief lecture from The Voice, Karen Waldrop, Barbara Fairchild, and a whole lot more coming up next week here on the Backstage Pass. Thanks to our friends at hightidecountry.net, powered by the sportsguyspodcast.com, and, of course, out there, KKTC True Country 99.9. Have a great Easter. We'll see you next week on Monday. Until then,